This is Edward Hitchens for energeticcity.ca. This is the Community Roundup brought to you by Brad's Furniture and Appliances. We're joined today by Ron
Polillo.
Of BC Crime Stoppers. Ron, how you doing today?
Good. Northern BC Crime Stoppers. Doing
Northern
good.
BC Crime
Thank you
Stoppers.
for having me.
So I just want to start off with what is the relationship between Crime Stoppers and Northern BC? Could you just go into it just a little bit?
So Northern BC Crime Stoppers is a chapter of BC Crime Stoppers, and BC Crime Stoppers is affiliated with Canadian Crime Stoppers. And Crime Stoppers is an international movement. So Canadian Crime Stoppers is part of the Canadian or the International Crime Stoppers. So it's a worldwide crime fighting program that is led by individuals like you and I.
Okay, so how long have you been involved with Crime Stopper organization? Why did you think that this organization, when you joined, when you first heard about it, could make a difference in the community?
I've actually been involved in the program almost 22 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I have a long history with Crime Stoppers, and the reason why I got involved because when I was recruited to be on the board, first of Prince George Crime Stoppers and now Northern BC Crime Stoppers, they showed me the statistics, and it is a program that works, and we have the statistics to back it up, and it helps keep our community safe. And I wanted to do something to really make a difference to help keep our community safe, and I've been involved ever since.
Okay, I know that Crime Stoppers is affiliated with law enforcement, but it differs from law enforcement. So could you talk to me about how law enforcement, how you are able to sift out anonymous tips, because it's all done anonymously, correct? So could you tell me how you sift out anonymous tip from an actual tip from what could be a red herring or what could be perceived as something that it just takes you on a wild goose chase? And how do you sift out the good tips from the bad ones?
Yeah, so the cornerstone of the program and always has been is anonymity. We go to great lengths to make sure that the information provided by the public is anonymous. And there's many things that we do to do that. Our tip callers, the people that actually take the tips and process the tips rather, are very highly trained, skilled individuals. And they've been vetted and they've been trained for many, many years to vet that information. And then only the information that fits that criteria um, moves on to police to be investigated. So it is a partnership, right? Crime Stoppers is a partnership between the public that provides the tip information, obviously the police that investigate the information, and our media partners too. People like yourselves are very, very important because they share the story of Crime Stoppers. And without telling our story, it'd be hard to, get people to provide that information that we need to solve crime and make our community safe. So our tip takers are very highly skilled and trained. The police that actually deal with the tip information, same thing. They're very highly skilled and trained to vet the information, and only the information that is really pertinent and relative. And that is really, a lot of times we get duplicate information too. So they'll gather all that. It's kind of like a big puzzle piece, and they'll put all the pieces of the puzzle together and then use that valuable information to go out and investigate and hopefully make arrests, which then can lead to tip money for tipsters.
Okay, so that's what we're kind of talking about today. 1,087 tips recorded last year. In relative comparison to previous years, How does this number say that the service is actually working?
Yeah, so this is almost last year we actually had a record year for tips information. We were just over 1,100 tips. That was a record year. So, where we are here, just under 1,100 is very close to the record year we had last year. And that speaks to a few things. The fact that, we're doing a relatively good job letting people know about Crime Stoppers, what we do and the brand. The brand is understood and they trust to call and give that information. So it's an awareness issue and then also a trust issue, and I think on both respects we're doing very, very well. And the fact that we've expanded the program, like I said, we started at Prince George Crime Stoppers, and then we took over the Northeast where you are and Northwest. So, we're taking tips all the way up to the Yukon border, south to Williams Lake, west to Terrace, east to Alberta border. So we encompass almost two-thirds of the province. And so the fact that we now have more territory has led to more tips as well too. So, we're pretty proud of that we serve, over 30 communities across northern British Columbia.
Okay, so there is a big issue within this region about the uptick in violent crimes and shootings and whatnot. I just want to know, did you see that kind of pattern? Is there being more tips for certain crimes being reported in Fort St. John as opposed to the less violent crimes?
Yeah, we've definitely seen, especially in the last 6 months, and that's one of the good things that we can track where the tips are. And I can tell you that last year in the Fort St. John area, we had well over 20 odd tips, and most of those were relating to what is happening in the Northeast with the increased gang activity, and that information I know has been sent to police, and I believe has been very valuable in their investigations. And not only in Fort St. John, but in Dawson Creek. So, one of the other things that we want to do is have more representation in the community of Fort St. John in the Northeast. So we are actively recruiting board member um, from Fort St. John that could join our regional board. So right now, we have a person that represents us in Dawson Creek who came. He's actually a counselor. Kyle McDonald has joined us in Dawson Creek, and it would be wonderful to have someone in Fort St. John step up and be the kind of the face of Crime Stoppers in that community and join our regional board. So if that sounds something that you know someone is interested in, please reach out to me or go to our website, and send us a message, send us an email or call, and we'd love to have someone from Fort St. John be our representative on our regional board here at Northern BC Crime Stoppers. So, to answer your question, yes, we have seen an increase of tips, and mostly directed to the crime activity that is happening there with gangs.
Okay, in terms of that tip number, how does that compare with other regions in the province?
So the majority of our tips come from our Prince George region, but like I say, it's probably within the northern BC region, probably in the top five in tips that we get come from the Fort St. John Northeast District between Fort St. John and Dawson Creek. So that's, like I say, probably top five in terms of how many tips we get from our region. So it is a active region in terms of tip information and activity. Um, so and the fact that like our tip numbers compared to even quite bigger communities like Victoria and the Central Okanagan. Um, in fact, I know we've had more tips in northern BC than I know the Victoria Crime Stoppers program, and Victoria is 350,000 people. So we people understand what we do, and like I say, trust to give us that information. So, like provincially, we do very, very well. And I know your region has participated in giving tip information. And like I say, is in the top 5 in terms of where we get tips from in Northern BC.
Okay. Well, that's all the questions I have, Ron. Thank you very much for letting us know about Crime Stoppers.
Yeah.
This has been Ed Hitchens with the Community Roundup for energeticcity.ca, brought to you by Brad's Furniture and Appliances.